This Druid build is goddamn insane. It hecking destroys Uber Lilith with ease, and it does so with absolutely zero effort. The damage that this build provided is completely bonkers, but that is not all, because it also face tanks every goddamn mechanic that Lilith does. Forget all about Inarius, because Lilith and the world of Sanctuary has a new daddy. Alright, you're probably eager to know how this awesome build works. It uses the broken ability, Earthen Bulwark, and damage reduction, while injured to face tank every mechanic in the game, but by combining this with an insanely high DPS skill tree and Paragon board, it also completely explodes Uber Lilith with high damage. Get the right stats, and you'll skip entire mechanics. And if you don't skip them, who cares? You face tank everything anyways. If you ever get low, we also have Shred to heal us up. This allows you to run this build with suboptimal gear and still destroy Uber Lilith, right? To get this beautiful lady Lilith down as fast as possible, you should therefore look for a goddamn ton of barrier generation as well as critical strikes and vulnerable damage. This should, however, be after you can face tank her waves, because those are annoying as heck. To face tank her, let's look at the stats I used. First off, you're going to need more than 14,000 life. You also need armor of around 9,200 to hit the armor cap. I have 8,000 when I'm running around as an awesome werewolf, letting me reach the armor cap from Aspect of Disobedience. I also have 90% barrier generation bonus. Lastly, damage reduction while injured is hecking important. I have 78% as you can see, which is a lot. All of this grants me a barrier of around 14,400. This is not enough, however, since you are also going to require other damage reduction stats. So get that as well, damn it. Alright friends, let's take a look at each gear piece and aspect piece for piece, so that you can easily copy this crazy good Druid build. For helmet, look for the following stats: max life, armor, barrier generation, and basic skill attack speed. Having high item level gear is also pretty nice, since that grants you a lot of extra armor. As aspect, choose Aspect of Might and Socket Barrier Generation. As chest, this one is almost goddamn perfect. Look for damage reduction, ranks to Earthen Bulwark, Barrier Generation, and damage reduction while fortified. As aspect, take the Mending Stone aspect. This aspect is hecking important so that Earthen Bulwark never leaves you. Now for gloves, mine are not optimal. First, look for crit chance and attack speed. You also want attack speed after dodging, but this may be difficult to obtain since this is a rogue stat and you would have to trade one of those silly rogue players for it. Lastly, look for critical strike damage with earth skills. As aspect, I choose the Conceited aspect. 25% multiplicative damage is no joke, my friends, so grab this aspect and rejoice. The panties are boring, so let's skip those. Haha, just joking, but they really are though. Just grab all of these stats: damage reduction, max life, damage reduction while fortified, and damage reduction while injured. For aspect, I choose Aspect of Disobedience. Now if you already have 9,200 armor, you can instead use the Vigorous aspect. Alright buddies, now onto the boots. Max ranks to evade is pretty important so that you can move around and dodge if necessary. Other than that, look for the following stats: movement speed, dodge chance, armor while in werewolf, and damage reduction while injured. As aspect, grab the Ballistic aspect for more bulwark ranks. Bulwark is an earth skill, by the way, if you didn't know El Mao. For amulet, we have a few different options. Either you are a boring cuck and get the same amulet as me, or you drop a defensive such as armor and instead grab Envenom. Other than that, however, you want damage reduction while fortified, ranks to defensive skills, that is, Earthen Bulwark, and damage reduction while injured. As aspect, grab the Symbiotic aspect, since this will help you reset Earthen Bulwark as fast as possible. I was just joking when I said that I was a cuck, by the way. I'm actually a Giga Chad gamer. Just look at these rings. I only have DPS on them, LOL. Get the following stats: crit chance, crit damage, vulnerable damage, and barrier generation if you are a Giga Chad like me. If you're not, I guess that is fine, and you could drop crit damage for max life. Now make sure to know if you're a Giga Chad like me or a beta cuck soy boy loser. It's important that I know my awesome viewers. As aspects, you want the aspect of natural balance. This one is sick. As second option, I'm using the Edgemaster's aspect, but you should be looking for the rapid aspect. The reason I'm not using it is because I'm unlucky. If you've used a bulwark build before, you probably know which weapon I'm using. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the goddamn great staff of the crone. Okay, besties. Done with the gear and aspects. Let's see what seasonal hearts that I'm using. First, you obviously need the barber for the sick damage. For your other options, look for Caged Heart of Tempting Fate for more critical strike damage, as well as Revenge for some extra defensives. That's all for the gear and aspects. Let's take a look at the spirit boons now. As Reindeer, grab Wariness. Next, bond with the Eagle. How this looked like an eagle, I have no idea, but who gives a heck, right? Get Iron Feather for the extra max life, and then swooping attacks for some sick attack speed. As Dog, choose Bolster to keep Fortify up. Lastly, take Calm before the storm so that we can keep resetting our Petrify. You know what time it is now, right? Yeah, it's time for my highly intellectual skill tree. Firstly, we start off by grabbing Storm Strike as well as Enhanced and Fierce Storm Strike for the vulnerability. We take Claw, of course, since we are using Great Staff the Crone, allowing us to reset our bulwark cooldowns. Next, we take Shred. As you know by now, this lets us heal up whenever we get low and also dash to Lilith so she doesn't get away from us. For some extra damage, grab Predatory Instinct as well. In the defensive tree, we stack Earthen Bulwark. We then grab Cyclone Armor for some extra damage reduction, but also because this ability can reset Bulwark. Next, make sure to grab Vigilance, since this grants us permanent 15% damage reduction. As Wrath skill, grab Hurricane, as well as Enhanced and Savage Hurricane. This will help us with tanking Lilith, granting us 20% damage reduction as long as Hurricane damages her. For more damage, grab Crushing Earth and Stone Guard. To make sure that we keep poisons up at all times, pick up Toxic Claws. Also grab Envenom for more crit damage. At last, we take a look at the ultimate skills. Petrify is goddamn sick, so get that. Next, grab all of these awesome skills for even more damage. Lastly, take Quick Shift and Heightened Senses for damage reduction as well as DPS. As key passive, choose Nature's Fury, since this is how we reset our bulwark cooldown. Alright friends, let's finish this sick guide by looking at my Paragons. These are focused on high damage as well as grabbing as much armor as possible. In the starting board, pick up Shapeshifter. This will grant you extra crit chance on your bulwarks, which is pretty damn overpowered. Make sure to level the glyph up, however, don't be lazy like Meal Mao. In the Earth and Devastation board, take Undaunted. This grants us both damage and damage reduction. In the Inner Beast board, we want Fang and Claw. This grants us some sick damage, but will also boost our armor. In the Heightened Malice board, take Outmatch. This will boost your damage reduction, but also grants us a hecking ton of multiplicative damage. Now we go to the Constricting Tendrils board. Here we want Earth and Sky. We also go to the Lust for Carnage board, only so that we can grab the nodes here for more critical strike damage. Lastly, we go all the way down to the Thunderstruck board. Here we want Spirit for even more critical strike damage. All right, folks, that's all. Make sure to sub to get good. A full Uber Lilith kill and some tips on how to kill her is in the description and on the screen. Check it out, my awesome viewer.